What up, world? So I saw How to Train Your Dragon 2, clearly the sequel to the 2010 DreamWorks release How to Train Your Dragon. Um, it has the voices of Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, Kate Blanchett, Craig Ferguson, Jonah Hill, Chris Mintz-Plasse, Kristen Wiig, T.J. Miller, Jaimin Hansu, Kit Harington. It's got a strong cast. Um, it takes place 5 years after the first movie. Hiccup is, um, he's practically a man now. He's getting pressured from his dad to take over the kingdom, and he just wants to explore the world. He's literally like creating the map, which I thought was dope. Um, and him and his girl, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She's winning these races, then tagging along with him, and they come upon dragon hunters basically, and the hunters take the dragons back to um, the main villain, Jaime Hansu's character. His name is Ivan Drago Bloodfist, and he feels that he can control all the dragons basically for what ends up being world domination like every villain wants from Jump Street. Um and I mean, it just goes on from there basically. Like, that's the basic story of the movie, man. Um Everybody kills it as far as the voices. The animation is so crispy. Like, just everything looks like it's just so sharp. Um, Man, y'all got me doing the Tony Dungy hands and shit. Um, but what I'm talking about, like everybody who came back just killed it as far as their characters. You know what I'm saying? They've grown into these characters. Jaime Hansu as the villain, dope. Kate Blanchett was a great addition. Um, and I'm not gonna get into her character because I'm not even sure. Like, I'm trying this new thing where I try to stay away from as many trailers as possible, so I don't remember if the trailers explain who Kate Blanchett character is or even what she does. I don't even want to get into that. The relationship. I remember the teaser trailer from a year ago. It was just the part where Hiccup and Toothless were flying like high above the clouds, and Hiccup just dives. You know what I'm saying? And just that was cool. That shit got me hyped for this movie. Kids are gonna love it. Adults are gonna love it. Like, it does what DreamWorks did when they first burst on the scene. Like, they had Ants in the late '90s, and that's probably one of their more underrated movies, along with Over the Hedge and Shark Tale. But then when Shrek came out, it was like gangbusters. Good story, good animation, good for kids. Grown ups love the shit, and like they do it again here. Um, and I mean, How to Train Your Dragon was dope as fuck. Everybody loved that movie. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is, dare I say, stronger. In my opinion, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is diggity dope. Oh my goodness, I've been generous with these ratings this summer. 2014 has been a glorious year for movies overall. There hasn't been too many shitty movies. Not just for me, I'm talking about in general. Um, and I want to say this shit too. If How to Train Your Dragon 3 is as good as 1 and 2, How to Train Your Dragon will be DreamWorks' best series. Because Shrek is a classic. Shrek 2 is a classic. Shrek 3 fell way off. Shrek 4 almost came back, but it didn't have the magic that 1 and 2 had. And then Madagascar is good. Madagascar 2 is good, but it's slightly weaker. And then Madagascar 3 is one of, in my opinion, DreamWorks' weakest movies. And I feel like Kung Fu Panda, if Kung Fu Panda 3, which I hear they want to do a rumored 6 movies in the series, if Kung Fu Panda 3 is as solid as the first two, I would say that that's a solid number 2 as far as their dopest series of movies. Um, so how did you feel about How to Train Your Dragon 2? I know this is coming at y'all late as hell, but my sleep cycle is mad fucked up. So that's why it's coming this weekend instead of last weekend. Um, I really don't have like no question because I know when Mr. Peabody and Sherman came out, I asked your favorite DreamWorks movie. So now I want to know what DreamWorks movie that doesn't have a sequel. Um, B movie, Over the Hedge, Ants, Shark Tale, Megamind, etc., etc. Even Mr. Peabody and Sherman, it just came out. Would you like to see have a sequel, like a Monsters vs. Aliens 2, a continuation of their story? Like Puss in Boots 2 is just announced a couple weeks ago. It's coming out in like 2018. It's far as hell away. And the preview for Penguins of Madagascar was attached to How to Train Your Dragon 2. Funny than a bitch. And Home. They flip flop. Now Home with Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, Jim Parsons, Rihanna, Steve Martin, Jennifer Lopez. That shit looks hilarious. Y'all know where I be, man. Peace.